Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Scottish Culture Quiz Night hosted by the Christian Union from Stirling University. I'm Kirsten. I am originally from Belgium, but I came to Stirling to study a master's in psychology. I've only been in Scotland since September, so I personally didn't know a lot about the questions that are going to be in this quiz. And I joined the CU as soon as I got to Stirling.
Yeah, so tonight we have a Scottish Culture Night. And I am the relevant Scot, even though the accent probably doesn't seem it. I am a third year studying Spanish and French. And I have, I only just joined the CU last semester this year. And yeah, I'm super excited to be sharing this with you guys tonight.
Brilliant. So I hope that you're all ready and set in your teams and that you're ready to get thinking about all of our questions that we've got for you. So to start off, we're going to give you a couple minutes, like 2 minutes, to think of a team name. And then once you have that figured out, we'll ask you to put your team name in the comments on the Facebook, like the Facebook live stream thing that's going on, just so that we can know who you are and that we can then check your score with your team name and obviously keep it all under control. Cool. So I think that would give you enough time to have come up with a team name. If you haven't, think of one real quick and just put it in the comments. And Sophie's now just going to explain a bit about how the rounds work and what's going to be going on this evening.
Yeah, so tonight we have 3 rounds. We have 1 round of staple Scottish. These are like your household classic Scottish questions. The second round is going to be food. Who doesn't love a bit of food? And the third round is going to be geography. So each round has 10 questions, 30 questions overall. And yeah, feel free to put your scores in the Facebook Live or the YouTube comment section, and we can just tally up your scores as we go along.
Yeah, exactly. So after every round of questions, we'll do all the answers, and then you can see how many you got right and then put that score in the comments like Sophie said, so that at the end we can know who won the quiz.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so round 1.
If everybody's ready, we'll start off with some staple Scottish questions. Question 1. What is the national anthem of Scotland? Question 2. What are the colours of the Scottish flag? Question 3. What is the national animal of Scotland? Question 4. What is the national plant of Scotland? Question 5. Who was the first monarch of Scotland? Question 6. Who is the patron saint of Scotland? Question 7. What date is the patron saint of Scotland celebrated? Question 8. What is the capital city of Scotland? Question 9. What is Scotland's oldest university? And then the final question of this round, what is the national instrument of Scotland?
Okay, so here is a quick summary for anybody who missed any questions. And I will give you a couple of minutes just to make sure you've got all your answers in. Okay, guys, let's go with our answers. So the national anthem of Scotland is Flower of Scotland. And I won't sing for you. The colours in the Scottish flag are blue and white. The national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. And yeah, we know they're real. The national plant is a thistle. The first King of Scotland was Kenneth I or Kenneth MacAlpine. The patron saint of Scotland is Saint Andrew. St Andrew's Day is the 30th of November. The capital city of Scotland is Edinburgh. The oldest university is St Andrews. And the national instrument is the bagpipes.
Brilliant. So we'll just give you some time now to count up your scores. And once you know how much you got right in this round, please put it in the comments on Facebook so that we can keep tally and that at the end we can know who won the quiz.
Okay, and while you're collating your scores, I have a question for you, Kirsten.
Go for it.
I'm going to ask you, how has CU, Christian Union, affected you?
Wow.
It rhymes a little bit there.
CU has honestly just been amazing because I'm obviously new to Stirling. I mean, I'm new to Scotland, let alone Stirling. And with coming to Stirling in this like pandemic with nothing being on, where I would usually make my friends in the lecture theatres or in my sports teams, that obviously wasn't really an option because nothing was happening. But CU has really been putting on so many events and so many just opportunities to get to know other people and to just connect with others, which hasn't been easy, obviously, in recent times. So it's just been really, really nice to just be able to look forward to something every week and just to get to know people, even while nothing else was on. So yeah, it's been great for me, honestly. One of the best decisions I've made, probably. What about you? How has CU changed your life?
Yeah, so like I said at the start, I only recently joined the CU. I joined in the start of the year, so September. And I used to be that person that avoided CU members handing out pamphlets for events. So for me to be sat here hosting an event by the CU is a little hypocritical, but it's amazing. And yeah, like you said, it's been actually so incredible. The year before I joined CU, I was kind of lost and quite lonely. And then with the CU, we have meetings every week. So it's given me the chance to actually be sociable without being face to face with people.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they're all so nice as well. Like everybody in you is just so nice.
Look at us, we've turned into an advert.
Right, I guess that's been enough time for everybody to count up their scores. So if you can all just put it into the comment section so that we can keep track of it. And then we'll move on to round number 2.
This is possibly my favourite round.
All about Scottish foods. Okay, question 1. Haggis is an animal. Is this true or is this false? Question number 2. What type of fish is used in Cullen skink, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, you are. Well done. And it's not the fish that's on the picture, by the way. I don't even know what that fish is.
No clue. Question 3. Law dictates that Scottish whisky must be matured for a minimum of how many years to become an official whisky? Is it A, 3 months, B, 3 years, C, 30 months, or D, 30 years? Question 4. Known as the king of Scottish desserts, Cranachan
Yep, bang on. Beautiful.
typically consists of whipped cream, oats, honey, whiskey, and which fruit? A, blueberry, B, raspberry, C, gooseberry, or D, pear? Question 5. What Scottish beverage gets you through the day? Question 6. Which of these can you not get battered at your local chip shop? A, pizza, B, a Mars bar, C, sausage, or D, chips? Question 7. How is a clootie dumpling typically cooked? Was that right? A, in the oven, B, in the microwave, C, in a cloth, or D, it isn't. Question number 8. What shape is a Lorne sausage? Question 9. What is stovies? A, a potato-based stew. B, a variety of porridge. C, a haggis pie. Or D, a stove warmer. And on to our last question of the round, question 10. It's Burns night and you've got your haggis ready, but which two vegetables do you have with it?
Burns night's coming up. Okay, guys, so here's a rundown of any questions, if in case you've missed any. I'll give you another minute. The scores from round 1, there was one team with 10 points out of 10, but lots of 8s and 9s, so it's really close, guys. I love it when it's close. Okay, let's have some answers. Okay, number 1 was haggis is an animal, and that is false. It is a mythical animal. Okay, number 2, what type of fish is in Cullen's skink? It is haddock. And for anybody who doesn't know, Cullen skink is a fish-based soup. Very Scottish. I've personally never tried it myself, but
I hadn't even heard of it, so.
Okay, number 3. Law dictates that Scottish whisky must be matured for a minimum of how many years to become a official whisky? There's slight trick questions because there's two answers with months in them. It's 3 years. Okay, question 4. The king of Scottish desserts, Cranachan, typically consists of whipped cream, oats, honey, whiskey, and raspberries. I have had this one.
Again, I hadn't even heard of it. I think I learned as much through this quiz as I have in my degree so far. So.
Which one? Okay, question 5. What Scottish beverage gets you through? Irn-Bru.
I actually have had this, so.
It's amazing.
Nah.
Okay, well. Okay, which of these can you not get battered at your local chip shop? It is chips. That was a little bit of a sly, cheeky question there. Have you ever had a battered pizza, Kirsten?
Never.
Oh, goodness. Okay, a clootie dumpling is typically cooked in a cloth and it is steamed. My mum loves it. Okay, a lawn sausage is a square sausage. When you go into the Scottish butcher, you get asked the question, link or lawn? Okay, what is stovies? It is a potato-based stew. Okay, and our final question of this round is Burns night, and you've got your haggis ready alongside neeps and tatties. I will also accept turnips and potatoes. But remember that for Burns night because it's coming up.
Okay, so same as last round, we'll give you a bit of time to count your scores and let us know how much of those you got right in the comments on the Facebook Live, again, as the last round, so that we can keep tallying up your scores and that we know which team is winning.
Okay, guys, just like the first round, make sure you drop your scores into the Facebook Live chat. And we are about to hear an incredible testimony from Ludwig.
Hi, thank you, Sophie. I have to say some interesting questions here so far. never heard of Clutie dumplings or stovies, although I have heard and had some of the other things. I guess I'm not as familiar with Scottish cuisine at this point as I had thought, but I guess we still got a couple of months of lockdown left to test some of the last Scottish recipes out that are on the list. So yeah, interesting to make some of those. Yeah, my name is Ludwig, as Sophie's just said. I'm from Germany, a tiny little town in Bavaria, to be exact. I'm just across the border to Austria. I don't know if you've ever seen Heidi, kind of imagine that sort of like alpine German sort of vibe. So that's kind of where I'm from. Yeah, I grew up in that region, which is probably why you might be able to hear a slight accent in my voice. I personally got to know Jesus quite early in my life. My mother became a Christian when I was about 1 or 2 years old, and sooner or later that did lead to me knowing Jesus as well when I was maybe 4 years old, so quite young. And I have to say, as far as I can remember, even though it was a long time ago, I did believe in my heart that, everything that is in the Bible is true. I believe that I could talk to Jesus and I could have a relationship with him. But as I grew up, as I became older, especially around the time I went to high school, I think a lot of other Christians have a similar experience as a time of testing. People get tested in all of their beliefs, not just us as Christians, even people that aren't Christians get tested. You kind of find out who you are. And as I went to school, I still saw myself as a Christian. I'd always have chats with my friends. We'd actually talk quite often about God and the world and a lot of these deeper topics. But I'd lost my relationship with God, and I didn't have a personal sort of connection to God anymore. And I just kind of assumed that it wasn't possible to have this personal relationship. I didn't expect an answer, if you might want to put it that way, whenever I was praying or thinking of God. And that went on for a couple of years, until I was maybe 16 years old or so. And at that point, I have to say quite honestly that I don't think there was much left of my relationship that I had when I was a young child. At that point, to me, it was more like an idea, really. I was thinking of God and my belief as a Christian as something I could defend on an intellectual level. I talk to my friends, have discussions with them very in depth, but would never go beyond that. I would never bring any sort of relational experiences into it. I wouldn't, tell them that was why I believed, because at that point I really didn't anymore. I didn't expect to get an answer from God. And that I think came in a time of my life where, in general, I lost a lot of meaning. I was just kind of, not going anywhere. I was just kind of lost, and I didn't really know what to do with my life. I was, going through the motions at school, doing okay, not really knowing where I was heading or what I wanted out of life. So one day I'd finished school and I was trying to figure out what to do. Actually, it was probably a couple of weeks before I officially finished school, but I applied to go to uni in Scotland, and didn't get a place at first because I applied way too late, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do at first, and then the timelines just didn't match up. But then I went through clearing and got a place here in Stirling, and 2 weeks later, after I got that place, I moved here. It was really just on a whim. Studying philosophy. Now I've switched my degree to philosophy and psychology, but studying philosophy. So I came to uni, and I still thought of myself as a Christian. So I went to a lot of CU things. I went to church on Sundays. I kind of tested things out, tried to get to know people in the CU. But even though I thought of myself as a Christian, a lot of my faith had been lost. It didn't exist anymore because I didn't have a relationship with God. And that's really the point I want to stress here, is that us as Christians, we really have a deep personal relationship with God. We can talk to him, cry out to him, and we don't just expect it to go out into the abyss and not be answered. So at that point, that was my relationship with God. It just didn't really exist. But then one night, I was going to an event that the CU was hosting. It was called the Mark drama, which is a sort of theater piece where they perform the Mark drama. It's one of the Gospels in the Bible, one of the books in the New Testament. And I was just watching that, and it was very, very touching. Like a lot of people that came there, even people that weren't Christians, were touched and were crying at the end of it. And it was a very touching performance. But what really touched me, really made me think, was seeing all of the other people in the CU and their reactions to it. And I could tell that it really meant something to them beyond just what they could see. It didn't just touch their hearts because it was a sad story and because it was a great and a happy story at the same time. It touched their hearts because it meant something to them on a deep personal level. And I went home that night and I felt guilty, and I didn't feel like I was right with God. I didn't think I could pretend anymore like I was a Christian. I thought I had to make a decision. Either this was for me, either this existed, on an actual personal level, and God was somebody that you could have a relationship with and wasn't just some sort of idea, or I just had to abandon it and not pretend like I was a Christian. So that night I went back to my flat and I was honestly quite upset. I cried out to God, and He did answer me. And over the next coming weeks, rebuilt my relationship with Him. And when I think back to it, what really changed is it wasn't like this grand, sort of like change in the sense that I don't know, lights were coming down from heaven or something, but really it was almost like something switched inside of me, and it felt like I wasn't alone anymore, and it felt like there was meaning in my life and direction, and it just felt like there was meaning on a bigger scale in the universe, in my life, for other people. And that just really made a big difference for me. And that's just really what I want to share with you guys today. That's something that you can have for your own lives if you're not Christians. And even if you are Christians, I think it is just nice sometimes to remember that we're not alone in these difficult times. I personally have found the last weeks and months incredibly difficult. Oftentimes you do feel like you're alone. You do feel like things aren't going anywhere. Like there's no direction for any of us in our lives. But I think it's really important then to remember that we have somebody who's looking out for us, who's got us securely in His arms, who's not letting go of us, and who we can trust and who will restore life to its fullest for us. So I just want to leave you with that and let you get on with the quiz and with the last round. I hope you guys have been doing well so far with your answers, and hope you do well with the last round of the quiz.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for that.
I love hearing people's testimonies.
I know, it's always so nice.
Okay.
Cool. Let's move on to the final round 3, all about geography. Let's see who takes it home after this round. We'll start off with question 1. A Munro is the name for a Scottish mountain above which height? A, 2,000 feet, B, 2,500 feet, C, 3,000 feet, or D, 3,500 feet? Question 2. What is the longest river in Scotland? A, River Clyde, B, River Tay, C, River Don, or D, the River Tweed? Did I pronounce all of those correctly?
Yeah, you did. You nailed it.
Question 3. There are how many lakes in Scotland? Question 4. What river forms part of the border between England and Scotland? Question 5. How long is Loch Lomond? Loch what?
Lomond.
That one. A, 37 kilometers, B, 38 kilometers, C, 39 kilometers, or D, 40 kilometers? Question 6. Which city shares its name with an Australian city? Question 7. What is the most northerly point of mainland Scotland? Question 8. How tall is Dumayet? A, 4.18 meters, B, 41.8 meters, C, 418 meters, or D, 4,180 meters? Question 9. How many lochs are there in Scotland? A, 3,000, B, 30,000, C, 300,000, or D, 3? And then our final question. What was the first capital of Scotland?
Okay, guys, as ever, here is our little summary of the questions. If you missed any, after round 2, the team in 3rd place is Susan on 18 points. The team in 2nd place is Sunny Dunny on 19 points. And the team at the top, the one to beat, is the Mucles on 20 points. I feel like this might have been the hardest round for some people. There's some very tricky questions in there.
It's also very close as well, so I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out.
Okay, let's go with our answers. So, question 1, a Munro is the name for a Scottish mountain above 3,000 feet. Kirsten, we'll get you up a Munro soon.
I actually really want to. I bet there will be snow up there. I love snow.
Okay, what is the longest river in Scotland? It is the River Tay. Okay, question 3. There's only one lake in Scotland, and it is the Lake of Menteith, very close to Stirling. You could cycle if you're feeling particularly raring to go, or you could drive to it. Everything else is a loch in Scotland. Okay, which river forms part of the border between England and Scotland? It is the River Tweed. How long is Loch Lomond? For many, this might have been just a bit of a guess. It is 39 kilometers from point to point. Again, very local to Stirling. Okay, number 6. Which city shares its name with an Australian city? It is, of course, Perth.
I still get so confused whenever I see it on like road signs.
Question 7. What is the most northerly point of mainland Scotland? I feel like this might have caught a few people out, you know. It's done ahead, contrary to popular belief. Okay, how tall is Damayet? 418 meters. And for anybody not local to Stirling, Demite is the hill at the back of campus. And it is beautiful views from the top, as Kirsten, I'm sure, could tell anyone.
I love how you call it a hill as well and not a mountain. Back home in Belgium, that would be called a mountain.
Okay, question 9. How many lochs are there in Scotland? 30,000. And just one lake. Question 10. What was the first capital of Scotland? It is Perth. And according to Google, it was capital in around 800. I wasn't around then.
Brilliant. So that concludes all the question and all the rounds of our quiz tonight. So we'll just, again, give you some time to round up your scores from that last round, put in your scores into the comment section on the Facebook live stream so that we can tally it up and determine who won.
It'll be interesting to see if the winning positions has changed at all.
Yeah, especially because they were so close. All right, as you guys are getting your scores in and as our behind the scenes team counts them all up and determines who won our quiz, I just wanted to let you all know as well that if you do have any questions for the CU about events or about what they are all about, what they do, don't hesitate to just contact them. I think there's going to be some contact information being posted on the Facebook live stream as I'm saying all of this, I hope. So yeah, if you have any questions or if you want to know more, please don't hesitate to reach out. There will also be a form if you want to just fill out a form instead of messaging people with questions. You can do that as well and people will get back to you. They're usually really, really good at responding on all social media. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Like I said, we're all very nice people, so no worries. We also have a couple events coming up, which are all online, free to attend. I don't think a lot of people have plans right now because there's not a lot going on. So do feel free to come to any of these events. So to start off on the 27th of January at 2 p.m, we will be having a Welcome to Stirling Zoom call. So if you're new to Stirling, if you want to meet some people like I did when I came here, don't hesitate to join that call. It's really fun. Again, we're all really friendly. You can just meet some new people, make some new friends. On the 29th of January at 7 p.m, we'll be having a talk night, which I'm particularly excited about. It's going to be all about if science disproved God. So we have a guest speaker that's going to come on and just talk to us about this topic, which should be really interesting. Then between the 8th of February and the 12th of February, there will be an entire events week. So every single night there will be an event on at 7 p.m. And I think information for the specific events will be coming out shortly. So again, look in the comment section of the live stream for all the information and all the links. And if you want to know more, like I said, just contact either one of us or just contact the Christian Union Facebook page or Instagram page.
From personal experience, the Christian Union are very good at manning the social media pages. I reached out on Instagram, so if you want to check them out on Instagram or Facebook, both social media websites. Can you call them that?
Social media channels? I'm not even sure.
Okay, so before we announce the top 3, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone behind the scenes for helping out with the quiz and helping to make this possible. So without further ado, our third place team was Woozy on 19 points.
Woo!
A round of applause. In joint second place, we have Team Susan and Team Sunny Dunny on 24 points. That's such a good score.
Way more than I had.
I would never have been able to get that high. And our winners, they've stayed on top. Team Mucles on 27 points. Well done. How amazing
Big
is
round
that?
of applause.
So thank you so much for joining tonight. We hope you've had an amazing night. And yeah, we hope that you've learned something today. I've definitely learned something. Have you learned something, Kirsten?
I've learned so many things. I didn't know most of those questions, so I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, amazing. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys at another event in the very close future.